Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue and I'm from OML Embroidery, and I just got started just a couple of minutes early so everyone can get their notification and come and join us. So cool, it's Wednesday. We kind of have a sunny day out here. It's beautiful. Let's see, we've got Jill Scarsbrick. I'm glad you made it today, Jill. Did I say it right today? I think I did. Yes. Alicia, Lila, oh, everybody. Chris Yost. Hello, Chris Yost. We're just saying hi. Don says, all good. He's downstairs. All right, Cindy King is in the house. All right, Cindy King. You guys are going to love this. Yes, you did, Sue. All right, finally. I will probably do it wrong again, but you know, I try. Jackie Burke, hello. Carol, hello. Awesome to see everybody. We have 24 people. Well, you guys are going to love this. Lise, hello, Lise. You guys are gonna love this because we're gonna go back and hopefully everybody did their homework when they were supposed to do their homework. If not, you can go back and check out the homework video. And we're going to be talking about the lighthouse that we did. Now, if you remember that we did the lighthouse completely out of shapes, just simple shapes, and we put it all together. So it was kind of a mess. Well, mine was. I don't know about you guys, but mine was. So here's the lighthouse, and here is the lighthouse fixed and optimized. So other than a little bit of spacing difference, they look exactly the same. So what's the difference? Well, one difference is over here. Look at this. What a mess. Let's take off the 3D view so we can see. Look at all these movement lines and jump stitches, and wow, the lighthouse one, the optimized one, looks a lot better. So this is what our goal is. And look at over here with the colors. It's all organized. So let's go back to the other one because we were just basically working with shapes and putting them together. Now, if you look, everything is way out of order. I do have some things handily grouped, but that means it'll stitch yellow and black, and then yellow and black, and yellow and black. And I don't know about you guys, but I really hate unnecessary thread changes. I find it very annoying. So once we start to optimize, we need to stitch the items from the back to the top. So from the lowest one, the furthest away, I guess, or the closest. I don't know how you guys can think about it, but we've got to stitch from the back to the front. So the lowest layer up to the highest layer. So in this design, it's going to be the green grass, which we need to stitch out first. Now you can certainly leave the green grass like this. It's only one piece, but if you look at where it's highlighted, it's going to go behind this white stitching, and I would be a little afraid that the green would show through. So instead of making a hole, because it's really not going to work, we're going to go into edit nodes, and we're just going, oh, that is not a node. We're going to add a node here. And I mean, you don't have to do this, but I think it's a good idea. And we're going to add another one here, and we're going to pull this one down. See how I'm doing it? I'm going to change this one to line because I want a sharp corner, and we do have to overlap a little bit. And this is when your Bezier handles come in handy. It's fixed. This one should be aligned too, so depending on whatever software you're using. By the way, I'm using Dime's Perfect Embroidery Professional, or PEP software. because this is what we've been working in. You can do your homework in any digitizing software that you have. It's basic shapes, fill stitches, lines. It's pretty easy to do. So once we do the design, this is what we're going to do. Just because of the style, the way we did it, it's just going to work. So this one, we need to change this one to a line. And I think that will stitch out much better. Look, I'm going to grab my Bezier curve and we're done. So yay, we're done that. That is just a little bit better. I like it. So that's the first thing. And then we can stitch out the moon whenever you want. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing around it. There's no layers. There's nothing like this. So now let's figure out the color sequence that we're going to do. So you can see this yellow, these beams are over top of the red. And it wouldn't look right if it was from behind. So we know we're not doing the yellow, so we're going to be doing the white or the red. So basically pick one. It doesn't actually matter in this case. And the first thing we need to do is organize it in this mess. So let's start from the top. So I'm going to highlight this and we're going to move it up underneath the green. So I'm starting with the white. So in this software, I think it's Control and square bracket to move it up. That could very well be, yes. Up more, nope, down more. A little too happy on the shortcuts there. So that one's first. Click on this one. We need that one to go second. You can click and drag too, but it doesn't always work perfectly. And there, we're going to put it there. So double check, 1, 2. Let's do this one. And we're not going to worry about any of the other colors yet. We're not going to worry about it yet. We will worry about it after, but not yet. So now we have our white blocks in a nice order. That didn't take long at all. Not at all. So now we're going to make some connections. So maybe what I'll do is put the 3D on. It's a little bit difficult to do that when you're working because you need to see where all these jump stitches are, but just so you guys can see it a lot better, I'll do it this way. So one thing that is not attached to that, so you would have a trim or look at our handy dandy jump stitch there, and we can avoid that and do all the white in one shot. How do we do it? Well, we are going to stitch our connections. So starting at the top, and I'm going to right click and digitize path after the one I've selected. That's what we want. I'm going to grab my running stitch and I'm just going to run it down the side here, just super easy. And start and stop, and look what happened. That whole jump stitch disappeared. So yay, that didn't take long. Now we're going to do this block and we're going to take it down all the way to this block, which is a different stitch on it because I guess I was playing around. Doesn't matter. So there it is highlighted. We are going to digitize path after, and we can do this one a little differently because we can put it here and we can put it here because the red is going to stitch over it. So we're good on that. Now these two are connected. So what do you think we do next? Well, exactly the same thing. And this really does not take long to do. So you can see my sequence. We've got a fill, a run, a fill, a run, a fill, and fill. So we need one more run. So let's do this. Digitize path after, so it's in the right order. Grab our running stitch and it doesn't matter where you put it because the start and stops are going to move properly and nothing's going to show. So look at that. So nicely ordered. You stitch the green, you change your thread to white. It's going to do all of the whites and then all of the reds. So easy, right? Yeah, starting to be. So let's go through our reds. So I'm just moving so I can see better. So again, we're going to start on the top. So we've got a little bit of it. Satin stitches, I think we want to change that around a little bit because we want the top one to stitch first so we don't have to do another connection coming all the way down, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but this way is better. So this is our first one, and then we, oh, it didn't work though. Control and bracket to move it up. Wilcom E4 has some handy dandy arrows that I'm used to, so it's a lot easier to do. It's nice that these are numbered, and you can change all these words just if it would help you figure it out while you're going along. Now we have a jump stitch between this and the satin stitch. So big old jump stitch, not looking the greatest to me. But we still have some more reds to bring up so they can have a party up here in one. So hopefully they're in the correct order, and it looks like they are. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but look at all these jump stitches. So now on this one, we have to do a little bit of hiding. So we can't go under the white because the white is already stitched. So this is what I'm talking about, the order of everything. So we want to select this one, and it's highlighted over here. We're going to right click, whatever your software, your embroidery software does for it. This is what we want to do. We want to do after and grab our friendly running stitch. My wiener's barking. And for this one, I'm going to make it look like it was meant to be there. So I'm going to start here or here. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to go across, down. You'll see when I'm done here. And right here. And press enter. And it gives it kind of a glow. So that is our connection stitch. And it's awesome. It's perfect. Ellen, welcome, Ellen. Absolutely welcome. You're going to love this. This is a whole series. So if you're having a hard time following, don't be discouraged. You have to go back and do all the classes if you're a beginner. So isn't that a clever way of making the connection? I thought that was really cool, and it gives it kind of a glow, and it goes with it. So I'm really happy with that. Otherwise, you could just maybe tuck it in on the side, but I think this is a much better way of doing it. So now we're connected to this. My jump stitch disappeared, which I love. Now there's a jump stitch here, and we can fix that by moving the stitches, the start and stop points, sorry. So is everyone following along so far? I'm not going too quick. Okay, I will fix that in a minute. So this one, look at this jump stitch here. That is terrible. Now you can pick a side. It doesn't really matter what side you are working on. Digitize path after, grab our favorite running stitch, and I'm going to place it right behind this black outline that looks so good. And I'm going to place it right here and hit enter, and it moved. Now we're going to have to, I see it's kind of a jump stitch there, so we may have to fix that. It is not always perfect, so I love this. I will need to go back to the beginning videos. We start right at the beginning, how to make a square, how to make a circle. If you don't have perfect Embroidery Professional software, you can do this in any digitizing software. I cannot stress that enough. Any digitizing software, you do not have to have the software that I'm using. Although it's awesome, I enjoy playing with it, you don't have to have it. Your software, your digitizing software will have shapes. It will have running stitches. It will have fill stitches. And that's all that this is, believe it or not. So, awesome. So where were we? I forgot where. Oh, well, I can tell. Look at that jump stitch. Yuck. So select it over here, right click, digitize path after, and grab our favorite running stitch, and maybe we'll do it on this side. And start and stop, and yeah, look at that. Disappeared. Quite happy with it. And I think that's it. Are we all connected? Oh yeah, we are. So that takes care of the majority of our design. That is top to bottom white. So awesome. Awesome. Makes it easy. So we can skip our reds and whites because we've done it. Now, what else do we have here? This I'm going to delete because I was just playing around. So we don't need to worry about connecting this. These ones need to be ungrouped. I think I had it grouped just to move them around and figure out where I wanted them placed. So Control U or this handy dandy icon, and there we go. Now we have some of the yellows freed up. Do we have any more yellows? No, we have green. I'm gonna put these like closer together, and let's just move up our yellows, and then we'll sort them out because I think they're in the wrong order. Then we just have black to do. So seriously, it's not that hard to do, and it makes all the difference when you're stitching. So let's see what we have. So this one, which is the light, the yellow light right here behind the red that I keep clicking by accident, that one can't stitch first. Why? Because we want it to cover up the edges of this, right? So we need this to stitch out, not necessarily last, but after these things, because we don't want it to show through. And we do want an overlap. So let's see what we got. So top right, bottom right, that's good. And top left, well, that's okay. Bottom left, and then we're out of whack there. We've got, because we need to do this light. Now, we're not going to be able to connect them, but I like to put them in a logical order anyways. There's no point connecting them. There's no way to connect them. So this is one of those situations where you're just going to have to trim for all of these. There's no way of connecting it. I mean, you could go around, but no. It's only a running stitch or a back stitch that we're using to cover up, so we have to be a little careful with that. So I'm going to move the light down after the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So that will stitch out better. So now we still need to make our connections because there are jump stitches. So I'm just kind of looking. And now this is a fancy stitch, and we're going to talk about this part afterwards. Are there any questions? Hatch and Brilliance, Embird, PEDesign. Yes, we teach you everything. Are all of the Sunset with Sue videos done with her using PEP? Yes, the majority of them. Because people get so hung up on, oh, well, I can't take that class because you're not using my software. I'm trying to get you guys to step out a little bit and understand that you can watch any class and do it in your software. You may struggle finding the tools, but once you do, you won't forget them again. So it's kind of awesome for that. So most of it is in Pep, Dimes Pep. I just find it fun. I did a couple of Hatch ones, and then everybody commented, are you going to do more in Hatch? Are you going to do Embird? What about this? What about that? So I just want everybody to learn how to do all of this. All right, so back to our yellows. Now, because, let me turn 3D on, because this light is stitching out last, it's super easy to make the connections. We're gonna start with this one. So this is the first place it's gonna go down. It's gonna stitch, and then we can run all the yellow connections behind easily because this is gonna cover it up and it's the same color, which I thought was really cool. Now, I do have one problem with this design, and it's right here. This is way too dense to stitch out. Let's look at it here. Way too dense. Way too dense. So we would need to fix that. So this design isn't finished because this is going to break needles right here. And a quick way of finding that out is I think I adjusted, no I didn't, is putting on your stitch simulator, which I always do to double check my connections, and I stop it and I fix one if I see something. But I want to show you guys this because this is really important. So I'm gonna skip ahead to this now and we'll play and look at what it's doing. It's like way too much. So we do want to fix that a little bit. It's just going to stitch out all the yellow. See, it started from back here. Look at this one. Yeah, way too much. So I do want to fix that. I'm not necessarily going to do it today, but we just need to set it up in a different way. But as far as connections go, let's just run through it. How are we for time? Yes. See, it doesn't take very long to do this if you do it in the right order and systematically. It's easier to do it this way. So, okay, complex fill and digitize path after. It's kind of a rhythm. Pick up your running stitch, and we're going to go from this yellow over to this yellow. And there we go. So the start and stop points will have changed, and we can double check that when we do our run through. And so that attached to that. And what is next? Number 20. It goes all the way up to there. Not a problem because we still have our yellow to go over it. So this one, right click. Dawn will get that digitize path after. And we're going to connect from here all the way across to the top left. And hit enter, start, stop. It sets it up in the direction that I went. Good enough. And now this one, we are going to do the same thing. So you see, I got the rhythm again. Complex fill, run, complex fill, and let's do our run. Digitize after. And grab our running stitch, and we're going to go here. And, well, let's make it behind the yellow. I just did it, this way. That's going to show. So let's do it behind. And hit enter. And we have some awesome connections. And then it's going to go ahead and stitch out the yellow middle, and that's awesome. So there is nothing we can do about this jump stitch and trim that goes to the first window. That's the way it is. So, yeah. And then the next yellow window is also going to have a trim, and the last one. So that gets us down to the bottom. So we're good on that one. So now we have blues and we have more black colors. Now black is on the top, and the black is going to be covering up all of our issues. So we want the black to stitch out last. So I'm going to move it. The moon part doesn't really count at all. These ones, the little designs that we put on it, again, there's no way of hiding it. So that's another case where it's going to have to trim, or do, I would hope your machine wouldn't do a big jump stitch, but I guess it might. There's nothing we can do about that one, so we just kind of have to deal with it. So now we're getting towards the end. Let's talk about our black designs. So we got to put this into a logical order again. So this window, I think we can do the windows last and maybe make just like a little itty bitty running stitch in between there. So this is what I do. I click everything and figure it out. So I think this one is going to be my first one. So I think it's going to, no lights. There we go. So this is our first one. So we're going to take it in a path that goes over and around. And there's not much we can do about this one. Maybe we'll do it last. Jills, thank you very much. Are you guys following along? Hopefully. And you guys are understanding? Hopefully. Because this is, it's not hard, but I'm going to tell you that 90% of digitizers out there don't do this. And it needs to be done. Cindy King, yes. All right. All right. Yes, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching and participating. Okay, so I've gone into node mode on this one, and this is a problem. It's going to start here and finish here, but I still have more work to do up here. So we need to change this around, and we need it to end here. So that part was easy. Now, let's be a little bit clever on how we connect these, because we want it to work. So let's find out it's in two pieces. Yes, so we want the start over here, and we probably want the stop here, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Let's try anyways. So now we have a little space here. What are we going to do? Well, it's hard to grab pieces. There we go. Let's select that, and we're going to continue the run. So digitize path after, grab our favorite running stitch, and let's just connect it like this. Perfect. And then it's going to stitch everything, and it is going to end up here, but we still have this banister to do. And then what we're going to do is make this connection down here so it looks even. And I think that'll look really good. So far, so good. So finish here. We could go back up. What I did in the other one, and I thought it looked great. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm just going to add a little bit to it. Digitize path after, grab my running stitch. So we ended here, so I'm going to work. And what I did was just go back and forth like this, and then continue on down to here. So we have our connection. We have a little bit darker of a stitch right there. Now you would go in and tweak this because it doesn't look the greatest. It needs to be moved out a little bit more. It's kind of, but you know, this is when you're going to do all of your tweaking. So what's next on our black list? Ha, I like that. It's hard to grab stuff. So I'm going to go back to black and click on everything to make sure we're doing it in the right order. So that is a big old jump stitch. We're just going to move out of my way. That one, and where's it going? Where's it going? Oh, these windows are going to be the end of me. Ha! They're annoying. So that's the one I'm looking for. So this, this, and this has to go up. So all you're doing is just kind of going through it. Logical. There's the connection, and that's in the wrong order. I'm probably not pulling it right is why I'm confusing myself. There, and that one, and complex fill is the door. So this one's in the wrong order. I'm going to do it with the shortcut so I make sure that I do it right. So we want it in the one before the door, so number 42. So that one, and then this one, perfect. And then down the side, and I'm going to double check, start here, end here. That one is correct. We'd see a jump stitch if it wasn't. And now we're going to end here. So we want to be able to do all these black pieces together. Right now it's Jimmy Jumpy, kind of crazy, and we don't want that. So I'll show you. And of course, remember there's more than one way of doing this. You don't have to do it my way. Whatever way works to make it look good. So digitize path after, and grab our running stitch. So we're doing it after this. So I'm going to stitch here, my running stitch, and I'm going to maybe go across here, just like this. You won't even notice it. It's not in the right order, so that didn't work, because what we need to do is stitch that right there, and then we want that window frame in. Not that one, not that one. We're going to do the top one. There we go. So we need that moved up, and you remember the number, and just bring it up. And, well, you can just actually watch. You can watch where the lines are, which is really cool. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much for the donations, Marcia. We appreciate it. You guys following along. So what I'm trying to do here is make the connection underneath our little door. Now remember this, it may look really big on your screen, but let's put it into perspective. That is 1/2 inch. So we're working with a really small design here. So adding a little run stitch right here is really not going to show. What is it, like 2 stitches maybe? Let's see, 1 stitch. Yeah, 1 or 2 stitches. It's not going to show, and you can just drop it in there. If this was 10 by 10, then your stitches from the door to the window are going to show. So that's why I'm doing it with just 1 stitch. It'll sink into the white just nicely, and it works, and it's easy. So I need to put everything in the right order, and I'm confusing myself. So what I would normally do at this point, make sure you save after you do every connection. Yeah, you don't want to lose all this work. Although, like I said, it really didn't take that much time. Let's go over to my lighthouse that I did optimize. So I did all the same things. This I really end up liking because it kind of gives it a glow. It doesn't look out of place. Look at how neat and tidy this is. I did the black last, I did the grass, then the moon, but it doesn't really matter other than the grass that needs to go first. The moon can go in at any place. So we've managed, see again right here, I messed up the windows. They, because I did them manually. So I'm gonna have to fix that. And the way to fix it would be to start where I want it to start and manually do all of this and end at the same place I started, so then I can do a connection and then another connection over here and do the same thing. So yeah, but neat. Where did you connect the top window outline? There's no place to connect it unless you do something like, you know, maybe a black design or something over the red and kind of camouflage the connection. So like bricks or something, but remember we're working really small. If you don't want to do anything like that, maybe you could do like a line across to separate the balcony here, the watch place here, and then you could just sneak a stitch down here and do it. But then you have the problem of going back. It's not really a problem because you just copy over where you're going and then continue on right here. So there's a lot of ways that you could do it. Is there two different type of stitches there? Add the black there? I don't think so. I know one looks thicker. It might be a back stitch. Or it might be just how the 3D is portraying it. I have a hard time specifically clicking. There we go. It is a bean stitch. So this here is a triple stitch. And so this one, oh, drive myself crazy. No. Yeah, this one, you could leave it, but this one here needs to be changed. So good eye there, good eye. So this is a triple stitch, and this is a regular running stitch. So it does look lopsided. So what I would have to do, once I do all of these railings, stop right here, and then do another stitch and make it bean. Because I think right now I have it all together. But yes, I didn't even notice that. So good eye, good eye. So let me show you what I mean about the top window, some options just really quickly. So we're going to end up here. You guys can see that? Yes, right here. Maybe I'll put a shape beside it. So that's usually my little trick to do it. Thank you. I keep pressing it and nothing happens. So just a little triangle, and we're gonna convert it to a complex fill and see how small we are. It doesn't even look really good. So green for start. So after we finish everything, that's where we're going to end up, and we're going to start the new one. So I would take my running stitch and make sure it's in the right order. I didn't do that because we're just playing around. I would go there, and I would go back halfway and then down here, and then do my window, and then come back up because there's two over on this one and just one. Come back up, and then go to here, and then continue on to here. So you can do something like that, or you can make it a little more decorative, maybe make the lines. Now obviously I've put everything out of order again, but you could put the lines, you know, like this, anything like that if that's what you wanted to do. So there's more than one way. You could, starting here again, so finishing here, you could maybe do some bricks. So kind of like one or two bricks. Let's see, go back down and do another one here. Something like this, bricks or a design. Then go in and do the outline for the window. And then over here, I'll let you guys see more of what I'm doing in just a minute. Down here, and maybe a brick here. Because you don't need to fill it all with bricks. Now we got to remember, we got to get back over to here to start. So work my way back, and up to here. Now I'll hit enter, there'll be jump stitches. But something like that, okay, that looks like a 2-year-old drawing, but whoops. If we want to step back, see how it looks? Remember, it's really small. So hopefully that gives you the ideas of different ways to do it. Sometimes you really need to think about it, and sometimes you can just let it be a trim. So I like the first idea better than the second one, but you can, you know, come up with whatever you want. Stitching it out would be beautiful. Having all of this black go up across all this detail work and then down and do that window and down and fix up the door and the windows so they all connect. Kind of drop one stitch here, one stitch there. The other thing you can do that I've noticed here is that my window is, they're at different widths, space between them. So another little trick to hide your little stitch is to bring that just a smidgen closer to the door. And now that looks a little more even, and really it's one stitch in here and you're not going to see it. And then you could go straight across and do this one. So super easy, super easy. So hopefully, Cindy, that answered the question for you, because it is awesome if you can do it. Then stitch it out. So once you have it optimized, and like I said, what are we at? 240, but I've been talking away. Probably 20 minutes to do the connections. So this is part of the 2 examples that I've been explaining to you guys, that if you have a design that you just built, that's what we did with this lighthouse. We built it as we went along, and I said, don't worry about the connections or anything or the color order. We're just making a design. And then we go in and optimize it and put everything in order and add our connections. Or you can, if you have a good idea of what you're going to be designing, you can do the connections as you go. So either way is fantastic as long as they're connecting. I'm going to say there's no right way or wrong way. If it looks good to you and it's connected as much as possible, then you've done a good job. If you've reduced as many jump stitches and trims as you can, then you've done a good job and you can have a pat on your back. And remember that most people don't do this part. And you'll know it when you stitch something out and there's the hated extra color changes. You can't, because of the layers, you can't always do it as neat and tidy as I did, but as much as possible. So it's awesome. So let's see, any questions? Elizabeth says, Sue, thank you so much for all you do for us. You're so easy to learn from. Yes. You were able to use a lot of what Sue was teaching. Good. I've seen some real improvements in people's designs, and that's what I wanted from you guys. Isabel, thank you very much. Look at that's a nice cup of coffee Mr. Pear has. That's awesome. So if you guys have questions, or if you get stuck while you're doing your optimization, put the colors first, then make your connections and make it logical so you know what you're doing. And you, like I said, you'll end up clicking, okay, that's 1, that's 2. So I got through the red and the white pretty quickly. The black got a little mixed up, but you just go 1, 2, 3. See how great that is? 4, 5, and then over to the door. It's perfect. Perfect. So, and then stitch it out. Fix these first, by the way. Stitch it out and you guys will go, wow, to yourself. Wow, that's awesome. And you're way ahead of everyone else. So, happy digitizing, happy making connections. Do your homework, huh? If you didn't do your homework when we did the lighthouse, go back and do it, and then follow along with that video, and then optimize it, and put yourself way ahead of everyone else, and make your dream designs. You know, when you stitch out a design from Sweet Pea or Anita Good Design and it stitches out beautifully, this is what my lighthouse is. And you can do it too. So, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry I went a little bit over time on this one, but that's okay. We had lots to talk about. Make sure you optimize every design you create and stitch it out. Run your stitch simulator to see if you put something in the wrong order. And happy stitching. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone.